Hi everyone, Vickieverlie here, Rock and Roll Prophetess. We're going to take a look at the chart for the full moon in Scorpio. This is taking place on Eastern Time, April 26, 11:31 p.m., but times will vary. I imagine it might be on the 27th in some places in the world. This is an intuitive psychic read of the chart. I do use the chart as a jumping off point, but I'm really tuning into spirit to get messages. So if you are a very by the book astrologer, this may not be the report for you. On the other hand, if you don't understand astrology at all and you think this is too complicated, hang in there, because again, it is very much an intuitive reading. So it's the full moon in Scorpio. But you can't overlook that it's just the moon is in Scorpio, but all this Taurus energy is going on. And it just reminds me of like the spring, in the Northern Hemisphere, spring has sprung, and there's definitely beautiful flowers everywhere, flowering trees, and the tulips, and the daffodils, and the lavender bushes are, and the smells, and it always reminds me of this time of year when we have all this Taurus energy, reminds me of the Ferdinand the Bull, skipping through the field of flowers and smelling the beautiful flowers. It also reminds me of, because the full moon is in Scorpio, it reminds me of spring and in the mythology of the Persephone returning to the earth and bringing all the beautiful flowers, and her mother, decorating the earth for her return. And then, of course, the counterpart is the Hades, which Hades is Pluto. And Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio. So there's definitely that part of the mythology, absolutely comes through with the Hades versus Persephone, or the underworld versus the earth plane, and the shadow. It's shadow work. It's definitely has to do with shadow and shadow work. And the full moon always illuminates and brings things to light. So definitely this kind of shadow side can be illuminated, brought to light, and, dealt with, and recognized, acknowledged, dealt with, But we do have all this Taurus energy. We've got to take a look at this. So we've got this Venus, which is the ruler of Taurus. We've got the Sun, Uranus, Venus, Lilith, and Mercury, all in, and really all in conjunction with the Sun, opposing this full moon. But really the tighter orb conjunction that we've got going on is at 15, 15, 16. This is Venus, Lilith, and Mercury, if you can see what I'm talking about here. So this is Venus, Lilith, and Mercury. Venus and Mercury together work, can bring some very creative energy forth. This is speaking, writing. Mercury is speaking, writing, talking. Venus is in a pleasing way. Venus rules over, and Taurus rules over the throat chakra. So this is vocalizing, singing, orating. Or I'm hearing something like oratoring. I don't know if I think it's orating. The guides are coming through with oratoring or oratorating. I don't know. But we'll just go with orating for now. But it's definitely, people who have Taurus energy, I've said this many times before, they have a great voice. You can always tell somebody's a Taurus because they have that very soothing voice, that there's this calmness or richness or beauty to their voice and their words. So you could have all these things, even if you don't think you're a singer, you might not be a quote-unquote a singer, but this is a time to sing your song, to sing your true soul song is what I'm getting. This is a time to speak your words, speak your truth in a beautiful way. Because sometimes we want to, we try to speak our truth, but it comes out anger, frustration, and these different emotions come through, and it comes out in a way that's not pleasing, So this is a time where it can come through in a very pleasing way, a very soothing way, a very calming way, where you can really articulate your emotions, which is the realm of Venus to some extent, your love, your words. I actually was channeling yesterday. I have it almost right here. I'm going to read you this little They came through with like sort of a poem about love. And I'm going to read it off real quick. Love is the tool, the jewel, the rule. Love is the light, the right, the might. Love is the feel, the heal, the real deal. Love is all. That's the main part. I'm going to maybe put that on something, a t-shirt, or I'm making these journals or something. There's more to it. I guess I could put some, because they were rhyming. They usually don't rhyme, it's usually just straight talk. But there's actually more, but that's the part I wanted to like put on something. But love can take you over the moon or make you act like a loon. Fly as high as a kite, like you are going to take flight. To sing with the birds, though you may not have the words. And then it goes on to a whole bunch of stuff that I'm not going to read right now. But yeah, it's some channeling for the next Transmissions for Humanity book too that I've been working on. But yeah, love is the rule. Love is the real deal. And love can take you high, Love is a vibe in this chart. I mean, I know it's the full moon in Scorpio, and that's like the event or the title of the whole thing. But there's a major love vibe. That's I'm drawn to this, and there's this major love vibe coming through. Both of these are fixed signs. So, because I was trying to think, well, what is the other aspect of Taurus? The downside is the Taurus, the bull, is the stubborn. They're stubborn. They're the most stubborn in the zodiac, but Scorpios can be very stubborn too because it's fixed. This is also in a T-square with another fixed Aquarius, Saturn and Aquarius. Here we've got this T-square here going on. So yes, it can be really fixed and everything, but now I'm hearing the Lenny Kravitz, we gotta let love rule. Let love rule. I mean, this is where the weight or the bulk of it is, The bulk of the energy is right here. So this is the highest calling of Taurus. The highest calling of Taurus is love, beauty. I always just think of that bull in the field smelling the flowers, Smelling the flowers, acknowledging the beauty of life. Because there is beauty in life, And Taurus likes to enjoy the finer things and the beautiful things in life. So the moon in Scorpio, I mean, I've been having some dreams here. I mean, we're not even to the full moon. But it reminds me of, I've just been having these dreams, and they are kind of shadowy. They are kind of dark and shadowy nightmares. I mean, in my life, I maybe would have a nightmare once or twice a year, I think, if that. But it's just like every night I'm having these nightmares. I don't know if it's just because of the world at large, the pandemic, or what it is, because the moon also does rule over your dreams. Absolutely rules over your dreams. So I don't know if, this is coming to a light. So again, I guess it's the shadow side. It's this shadow work, these shadow things. They're coming to the light. They can come to the light and you can make it into something beautiful. I think of some of the art that's out there that's just really dark and strange and, kind of macabre. And, but people see beauty in it. And they make it into something beautiful. So it doesn't have to be in the realm of art, but Taurus does rule art as well. Venus, Taurus rules art. But it can be in the realm of, just about anything. Emotional stuff, we could say, well, what is the beauty in it? What is the lesson in it? What I've been trying to do lately is, always asking myself, I know there's always the Byron Katie work, is it real? But what I've been asking myself is, why am I so triggered by this? Why am I triggered by it? Not, you're an asshole, they're an asshole, they're a fascist, they're a, it's the patriarchy, it's this, it's that, it's why am I so triggered by it? And that's where you can get into this scorpionic moon in Scorpio, the moon of the inner emotions, the inner feelings. Scorpio absolutely has that, that going deep, going within vibration and energy. So these are the questions like, why am I so triggered by this? Why am I letting this get to me, bother me, upset me, anger me? What is being triggered within my own being, my own subconscious, my own being? And how can I address that? How can I pull it out of me, purge it, examine it? I mean, instead of becoming angry and saying, you're wrong, or you're unevolved, or you're this, or you're that, you're, not, the fascist is not the word I'm looking for. A bigot, you're a bigot, you're a chauvinist, Why do I feel that way? Why am I triggered? And I think a lot of times people who do perpetuate these kind of things that are in our society, being uncovered at large in our society, I mean, woke or whatever, but maybe in some cases, a little bit can be overdone, the cancel culture and all that, but totally lost what my point was going to be. But why are we triggered? That's what I was circling around there. What part of me do I see in these things? Or what part of me feels inadequate, or feels threatened, or feels called out, being called out, or targeted, or, there's just all sorts of different things there. And instead of festering on that, or letting it rule us, or letting it take us over, how can we in turn take charge, or take control of our own mind, our own thoughts? And how can we just bring it back home? And, is it true? Don't believe everything you say or hear, What somebody else thinks of me is none of my business, some old sayings and adages. But, just finding this beauty, finding this beauty. Finding the beauty in, it's like the man behind the curtain, too, in The Wizard of Oz, in a way. This angry, bigot person or situation that you're becoming so triggered by, pull that curtain back, and what's really there? Maybe a really afraid, somebody who's just, a child. An inner child has a very wounded inner child, and somebody who's very wounded in their own self. So why give them power over you? Go to the beauty, go to the higher realm. Express the energy in its highest possible form. That's always the ticket. I know it's hard to do, it's not easy to do. If it were easy to do, we'd all be saints, right? And we wouldn't be incarnate, and we wouldn't be trying to lift consciousness on a grand scale, or whatever it might be. Back to some astrology, meat and potatoes astrology stuff, though. If you look around this wheel, this square, all this stuff is between like 10, 15 degrees, or here even Chiron's at 10. So if you have planets, the nodes are at 11, 15 over here, 12, we've got a lot of concentration around these 10, 15 energies. So if you have stuff there in your natal chart, if you understand your natal chart to any degree, your stuff's getting triggered. I mean, big time. In one way or another. I'm hearing that, one way or another, we're gonna get ya. We're gonna get ya. They're gonna get us. Yikes. Excuse me one second. I just have to do a little squirt over here. So you're really getting triggered, and you're really getting... So the triggered thing, the T-square and the fixed signs, it can be all, it's chaotic, it's gloom and doom, and or you can just kind of step back, There's the thing about Tauruses, they don't get their energy, and Scorpios too, really, for the most part. They don't get their feathers ruffled that easily. They don't get their stuff in an uproar that easily. Especially the Taurus energy is very calm, stable, easygoing. But in both cases, Taurus and Scorpio, when they finally do you know, if you keep poking them with a stick, if you keep jabbing, when they finally do go off and they do break from their overall demeanor is really steady and calm. You know, so that energy is present here, even though there's T-squares going on, and you know, the Saturn Uranus, and let's all get in a worry and freak out about all this stuff, or not, you know, or not. Taurus is out there smelling the flowers in the field, you know. Taurus will get pissed, you know, and then when you see the smoke coming out of their nostrils, you know, then you know you've crossed that line. Or Scorpio, you know, with Scorpio, when they reach that breaking point, if they keep getting poked and poked and poked, but for the most part, this energy is calm. Taurus has a very calm, grounded, you know, slow and steady vibration around it. And that is the prevailing energy. That is definitely the prevailing energy. Okay, so let's look at some other things here. We've also got, what else? Let's look at the aspectarian. What else is happening here? Moon opposed Uranus. Yeah, we talked about that's all that stuff. Anything else? Venus conjunct Mercury, Jupiter trine Mars. There's some nice energy we haven't talked about. Yeah, it's in a wide orb. I see what they're talking about here. Yeah, it's I forget what they call that, cross sign thing or whatever. So even though it would be like Jupiter's almost at 0 Pisces, so it's a trine like that. So, but Jupiter trine Mars is a nice aspect to get a lot of stuff accomplished. Mars is in the sign of Cancer, though, even though, you know, Mars is in the sign of Cancer. And, you know, that's like Mars always wants to get to work. What are we going to get to work on? You know, so Mars wants to get to work on Cancer, nurturing, emotional stuff. Get to work on our emotional stuff. You know, get to work on, you know, I keep coming back to this blame thing because I just feel like that's just a really strong, prevailing thing that's happening right now. You know, we blame everybody for everything. You know, they blame you know, even like these mass shooters, they blame they were bullied or whatever, so they go out and kill people, or, you know, their mother was cruel to them, or they grew up impoverished. You know, there's lots of people whose mother was cruel to them and they grew up impoverished and they don't go out and kill people, you know. So I have that song, that blame song too. I don't know if I'll remember to put a link in it, but it's on my other channel, my VV Creative Shorts, the blame song. We got to find somebody to blame because it sure ain't my fault. You know, that's that projecting outward stuff, you know. It just feels like it's bringing it back home, bringing it back to you finding your own inner peace, you finding your own inner balance, you dealing. Scorpio moon can really bring up, you know, your demons. You dealing with your own inner demons, your own nightmares, you know, your own Hades, the underworld. You know, these underworldly things that, you know, instead of, you know, even I used to enjoy a lot of the daytime talk shows. I'd put them on, but it just turns, they were just all, oh, it's just disgusting. Oh, I just can't believe, you know, all they're doing is trying to shame and blame people, you know, and I just don't want to hear that shit anymore. I just don't want to hear it, you know. And it's so fruitless. It's futile and fruitless. It's like a momentary fix for something much deeper that's going on. So if you want to get into what's really going on here, that's what the Scorpio moon is all about. What's really going on? What are those deep, dark places? And you don't have to go on TV or on social media or any other thing and blab it to the whole world. That's definitely not a Scorpio or a Taurus thing either. You know, Scorpio's in the vault, man. You tell a Scorpio a secret, they'll take it to their grave. You know, it's not like telling a Gemini a secret. I learned my lesson on that stuff. Because Geminis will blab it all over town, but Scorpios, it's in the vault. They mind their own business. They're not in other people's business. They're not busybodies. They're not out trying to point fingers and tell you how to live and what to do and how to think and, anything else. And the Taurus is just happy with some food, some wine, food. What is that? Wine, food, and thou? I'm not saying that right. There's some poem, some famous poem or quote. But that's the gist of it, Eat, drink, and be merry. That's the Taurus energy. They're happy to lay in the field with the flowers and the food and just be, just enjoy and soak up life and be in life and be in the earth. So there's that. I mean, there's probably a lot of stuff. I tend to always miss a bunch of stuff when I get done with these charts. And it's like, I'll go. I never watch anybody else's reading until I've done my own because I don't want to inadvertently, repeat anything they've said. But then after I'm done with mine, I'll go watch the other people's. And it's like, oh, there's this huge aspect going on and I didn't even talk about it. Their whole report will be about whatever and I totally have missed it. Yeah, but, this is it, Our deep, dark secrets are coming out, and they'll keep coming out to haunt us until we deal with it, till we look them in the face, we look them in the eye, and deal with it. And focusing on the love, focusing on the pleasures, focusing on what's good in the world, the beauty of the world. In the Northern Hemisphere, there's so much beauty in the earth right now. Earth Day, I think, is coming up, and this might even be, when I'm recording it, might even be Earth Day. It's sometime this week, And, there's beauty all around. There's beauty in nature all around. It's a time of renewal. It's a time of, Persephone coming back from the underworld into the light, out of the darkness and into the light. Persephone is interesting, though, because I believe she actually became, she embraced it after a while. It's an interesting story. I should have read up on it before I started. But I believe she actually, embraced the whole thing after. I mean, she was taken captive. She wasn't embraced it at first, but, she definitely embraced it after a while. And I believe she even became like an ambassador or emissary for the dead or something like that. I mean, she didn't go down there and spend the rest of her days saying, oh, you're so evil, Hades, I hate you, and just, nag, criticize, blame. She was like, well, this is it. This is my life. This is what I got to work with. I might as well make the best of it. How can I really rise above and do my best? What's the best I can make of this situation? What's the best thing that can be the outcome for it? How can I use the tools that I'm given? Queen of the underworld, and we've got Lilith. I mean, the full moon's in Scorpio, that's that Queen of the underworld energy too, but then we've also got Lilith in the mix here. And she's not Queen of the underworld, but she's got that, there's a similar energy there. Wearing that crown, claiming that power. Lilith definitely claimed her power. And, claiming your own power to create your life and acknowledge the beauty. And it's not like being a Pollyanna, not at all. It's just not giving an extraordinary amount of attention to things that you don't want and things that annoy you and things that you think are appalling, disgusting, or whatever, and there's things that are happening that need to be addressed, but the way forward would be to address the counterpart of it. So if you're disgusted by somebody's actions, then just be the example of the opposite of it, instead of adding vitriol, hatred, spewing out, getting in that low vibration. Be the antithesis of it. Be the example. well, you hate this thing, well, go volunteer at some organization that's doing good to help that. You know, try to make it so it won't happen again. Instead of damning, you know, the circumstances, be the beacon of light to lift it up. Plant your seeds in the northern hemisphere. Spring is upon us here. I know it's a full moon, but the Scorpio moon could shine a light on the ways that we could be, because Taurus is the builder. Taurus is one of the builders. They have a foundation. They like to build. It rules money too, you know. And, you know, it could be building finances, but maybe it's like giving money to people who are, if you can't get your, you know, hands in the dirt and do it yourself, then give money to people who are doing it. You know, maybe there's people out there who are feeding hungry, or, you know, helping children with, you know, disadvantaged mothers so they don't grow up to be killers. Or, I mean, that's just a real quick off the top of my head, but, you know, just give it some thought. Mercury's there. Mercury can really bring forth some creative ideas and some creative things of how to, you know, how to make the world a better place, I guess. That's the gist of it. Okay, everybody. Hey, thanks for tuning in and supporting me and my channel. I have, speaking of art and creativity and Taurus energy, I've got a couple new, a lot of people signed up for that Aries Ingress painting class, and it was really cool, and they seem to really get a lot out of it. And I've actually done a couple more. There's one with the Hamza, and then there's one with the solar return if you're having a birthday. They're both, you know, they're art classes, and they are art classes, but they're definitely like exploring spirituality, and it's really like doing some cool spiritual work. And that's some of the feedback that I got through emails and then the Zoom session that we did, and comments and emails, is that they really, you know, it's going in and doing the spiritual work. So it's a spiritual exercise that's also fun and creative. You don't have to be a artist at all, because this is for you. You may progress and you know, become a better artist through the exercises, but it's really not about that. It's about, you know, it's a way of also manifesting, especially the solar return one, because when you write out your intentions, when you bring something out of the ethers or out of your subconscious mind, by writing it down, or painting it onto a canvas, or creating it in a physical form, that facilitates and accelerates and is very instrumental of bringing it into the 3D reality. So it's not just a thought form, it's not just a dream or something in your imagination. It's a physical, and bringing things into the physical through art and creativity. While we're in all this Taurus energy, no better time to do it. So if you think that might interest you, check it out. You can find the link in the description of the video. Don't forget to thank you all so much for your likes, shares, subscriptions, comments. I appreciate it oh so much. I have all sorts of things available on my website, so please do check it out. Remember that you are love and beauty incarnate. Have a great full moon in Scorpio, and we'll talk again soon.